We actually missed out a lot in the Ois Samach.
Are we going back?
I'm considering. I need a little bit of a vote here.
A vote? Okay.
Well, I've heard enough. We missed out quite a bit, so that's my vote. Let's not miss out.
So we go back?
Yeah, let's go back.
Okay, fine.
Just
I just don't want to disappoint you guys. I thought about the other day and come back. So let's Ois Samach.
Which page?
Kufnun Gimel.
Samach, which is the second paragraph.
Me'ato, Samach, yeah. Me'ato tzarich lahavi. Now that we explained that there is two levels of makif. Makif HaKloli. Now we need to understand mahu ha'hefresh l'gabei ho'ilomes. How is it? What is the difference relative to worlds? Bein b'chinas makif ha'kloli shulifnei hatzimtzum, between the makif ha'kloli aspect that is before the tzimtzum, b'chinas makif ha'kloli shachar hatzimtzum, relative, as opposed to the makif ha'kloli that's after the tzimtzum.
so just to be clear, we jumped back to page Kufnun
Gimel.
Back to Samach.
Gimel.
Yeah.
Gimel.
Oh, because we had done the vast majority of the next page,
No,
and I think the complaint was about missing the last half of Kufnun Daled,
that's right.
or Kufnun Hey even.
Kufnun Dalet. Half of Kufnun Dalet.
So,
But we can't stop in the middle.
oh,
We have a complete thing.
so is the vote closed or open? We're going back. Okay, fine.
Oh, yeah.
Kufnun
Yeah.
from Sama.
Sama.
We
Got
have to
it.
have a complete thing. So
Kufnun Gimel,
yeah.
fine.
So,
Even if we start from the beginning, we're still afloat. All right, let's go.
I'm sorry, I missed the beginning. What's the first?
Omeato.
It's in Samach.
What?
Kufnun Gimel, we went back.
What is it?
Okay, I got it.
Meato, I said from therefore, now, hence, Tzorich L'Hov, we need to understand Mahu HaHefresh, the Gabi HaIlomis. What is the difference with respect to worlds? Bein Bechinas Makif HaKloli Shlifnei HaTzimtzum, between Bechina of Makif HaKloli, the general Makif, Shlifnei HaTzimtzum, that's before the Tzimtzum, the Bechinas Makif HaKloli She'achar HaTzimtzum. The Makif HaKloli, that's after the Tzimtzum. Because we said, Makif HaKloli, first of all, we already discussed, Makif HaKloli, that encompasses everything. It's not focused on a specific English. And it definitely encompasses everything equally. And in that itself, there are two Makif HaKloli. The Makif HaKloli She'elyin and the Makif HaKloli Atachtim. So and the alien is that the Makif HaKloli that's before the Tzimtzum. And Makif HaKloli after the Tzimtzum, this is called Makif HaKloli Atachtim. Lower.
And the other one is high. Alien.
Okay. Okay, let's focus a little bit. Makif HaKloli before the Tzimtzum. First of all, what does makif mean? Makif means that which surrounds, which encompasses, which embraces a whole structure, a whole content. It contains many, many different details, many aspects. And the reason there are many aspects is because this is such a great union that when it comes to be expressed, there are in many ways that it gets expressed. And all of these expressions are further embraced and surrounded by one principal makif. This makif is of such superior quality that it embraces all of these aspects together equally. Equally means that it does not have to identify each individual aspect. It is of such great quality that automatically everything falls in a place over there. This is called makif. We don't have to go further and decipher it. This we already went through many times. And then in that itself, this makif that encompasses and embraces all varying aspects, there are two madrigas in this. And one is before the tzimtzum, and after the tzimtzum. What is the difference in general? Before the tzimtzum means that it is the way it is coming from Atzmos itself, from Elokus itself. And after the tzimtzum means the way it expresses itself as a mitzias. When we say that this is before the tzimtzum, there are all kinds of different things contained within this makif. Before the tzimtzum, there's nothing there. So how is a makif? What is there to contain? The answer is that all things that ultimately surface from the makif are rooted in the makif itself. And therefore, it is contained within it before it even comes to expression. For this, I want to give a mashal, even though this is not a new thing for us, hopefully, if we still remember. A simple illustration, simple means of identifying with this is a home. A home is a structure all on itself, 4 walls and a roof. But the concept of the home is not the 4 walls of the roof. The concept of the home is that it enables full development of human activity. Once you start thinking from that perspective, then we see that the home is actually the one that provides for all kinds of different rooms, dining rooms and living rooms and bedrooms and so forth. And then furthermore, it provides for tables and chairs. As we said many times, a table in the street is not a table. It's a place just to fall over. A table is something which is mekabadig, which serves a person in a dignified manner. And that can only be in a home, in a room. Therefore, the whole concept of a table originates from the being from a home, from the makif of the home. And it is contained in it. The makif of the home, once you have a home, once you have, as you mentioned, you have a room, you start thinking, okay, how am I going to furnish this room? Because the room immediately elicits, brings out, tells you its significance. And all the things that surface afterwards are rooted in this significance of the room itself.
This is illustrating how makif calls forth the detail.
Brings out, not also, it brings out, it contains.
Mm-hmm.
As we said, a bias of the human being is the essence of the human being. And everything that the human being further expresses is due to the greatness of the human being that he has his home. So this is the pshat that the makif, the higher level of makif, the higher level of makif means the makif as all the things that it encompasses are still part and originate in it. The lower level of the makif is, after the home is a home, and after you have all the furnishings in the home now encompasses and surrounds everything that's in there. That's a lower level. Then each thing is an entity unto itself, but the home nonetheless encompasses it, gives it an uplift, a significance. But each thing is an entity unto itself. These are the two levels, basically, of makif hakloli. The real makif hakloli is in itself before everything has come into being, and after everything has come into being, the makif now comes back and embraces everything. Bien?
Ça va, c'est très bien.
Ok.
Très
Bonjour.
bien.
Merci beaucoup.
Buongiorno.
Okay. Now, we need to understand the Rebbe says, what is the difference, legabe ho'ilomis, relative to worlds? Okay, before we go on, now we started again. Let's do it right. As we said before, a piece of furniture is enhanced enormously by the fact that it has a makif, that it has a home that surrounds it. Even though this furniture is a standalone entity and was built to be what it is. Before it has a home, it is a certain form. Once it has a home, it is a dignified element, a human element. A completely different level, meaning. Therefore, the makif has an enormous effect on that which it contains. In terms of what we're learning here, the Maimer, we're talking about makif, hakloli, makif, elikus, and then worlds. The way the makif is before the tzimtzum in elikus, the way the makif is after the tzimtzum, it's also makif eliki, but it's after the tzimtzum. In other words, the worlds are already surfacing. The question that I was asking, the makif certainly has an effect on the worlds, as we just now gave an illustration from Sholim. The question is that the Rebbe says we have to understand the difference between how the two levels of makif, the original makif and the makif that comes after the tzimtzum, how the difference, how they affect the world. In our Masholim, now that we're doing it, let's do it right. Okay, do I have you with me? In our Masholim, we have this home concept before it was furnished, or even in the concept. Then we have the home concept after the home is built and is already furnished. In both instances, the home encompasses its furnishings. The home encompasses the furnishings before the furnishings materialized, and the home encompasses the furnishings after the furnishings materialized. And this encompassing means that it has an effect. It gives the definition to the furnishings. The question that the Rebbe is asking is, what's the difference between the definition that the home provides for the furnishings before the furnishings materialized versus the effect of the home after the furnishings materialized? That's essentially Rebbe's question, putting it into our motion. In both instances, the makif enhances and embraces everything that's intended. The question is, identify the difference between the effect of the makif before the Metzias of the world came into being and after the Metzias of the world came into being. It says we have to try to identify the difference. Does anybody bothered by this? In other words, are you curious to know? Nobody, this is the Rebbe is leading us. Nobody ever thought of this question. It's a makif, it's a makif. The Rebbe says, no, we have to understand the difference between this makif and this makif. Its effect on the world. The difference between two makif and we understand. But its effect on the world, that is a completely different approach. This is another question. Okay. Okay, we're on the second line of this sum. In the middle, the vadai for surely. The Rebbe says, I'm asking this question, you should identify the difference between before and after tzimtzum. This question is based on the following assumption. The vadai for surely, yesh hefresh, surely there's a difference between makif hakloli, yitira tato, the makif hakloli, yitira ilo. Surely there's a difference between makif hakloli, what's called yitira tato, the lower purity, the purity as it is after the tzimtzum. The makif hakloli, yitira ilo, which is the makif hakloli after, before the tzimtzum. Yitira ilo, the higher purity. And Rebbe elaborates on this assumption of the Vada. The Hagar for even though Sheshnei makifim clothes and ishtalshus behashvot, even though both of these makifim embrace the ishtalshus overall behashvot in total equality. Ishtalshus does not make a mark on the makif. The makif is a superior to the ishtalshus, and therefore this makif embraces the Hishtalshus equal, both of them. The makif ha'elyin, makif tirei lo, makif tirei tato. Mikomok, and yet still, tzorich leima, we have to say, that tirei tato, the Tira Tato, the lower Tira, which means the Tira that was after the Tzimtzum, who b'vchinas kiru b'yosef, is in a closer manner to the word, closer to the word, even though it's a makif. Nonetheless, even though it's a makif, it surrounds the world in total equality. No distinction between one part of the world and another part of the world. Still, nevertheless, that level of the Tira Tato, the level of makif, Tira Tato, is closer to world than the level of Tira Ilo. But yet still, gam bechinet makif the Tira Ilo, also or even the makif of the Tira Ilo, the higher makif, which is the makif before the Tzimtzum, behechrech loimar, it is imperative to say shepoile boilomes, that it has some effect on the world, even though it is very remote. In Tira Ilo, it is before it Tzimtzum. Surely it has some kind of effect on the world. Shaharei, why we say surely it has some effect on the world? Shaharei, since behold, who b'chinas makif al kaponim al ha'olamas. It is a makif. It has the quality of makif, surrounding, embracing worlds, even though it's before it Tzimtzum. Being king, and therefore, since it has an aspect of being surrounding the world, therefore, behechach loimet, then it is imperative to say shepoil gamkin boilomes, that it also has an effect on the world. Then you will follow this.
That's back to the chairman of the board, is that?
That's right. But here we have to really focus in. Many things that we have to focus on. The first thing I'm calling your attention to the fact that the Rebbe is not explaining himself. He says it's imperative to say that. Because this is beyond explanation. This is not something that we know by setting it up in details. This is something that we know in our insight of the Seichel. In our Seichel, without defining it, which we cannot define, but just to think, there is a makif, there's something that embraces. This embrace has to have an effect on that which it embraces. I don't know how it has an effect, but it has to have an effect. And because the meaning that it's embracing embracing does not only mean, let me put it in context. You can have furnishings in a house, in a storage. The storage is not a makif for the furnishings. A home is a makif. Storage is not a makif. What's the difference?
One is purposeful and intent. It
Correct.
serves a purpose for a person.
It's also a storage person. It's a storage.
Not to live. No. Not in the sense of living.
Okay. That's not enough. Not in the sense of the value of the furniture, the significance of the furniture. He does not surround the furniture because of their significance. It's just a place to stash it away. In a home, the furnishings liven up, bring out their richness. The home provides for that. That's what a makif is. It provides for bringing out the grace and the beauty of what furnishings are. Storage does not. Both are makifim. But this is not called a makif. Makif means it surrounds it, it embraces it, which means it is there because it belongs there. The storage is not because it belongs there. Guarding it against thieves or against the rain, this is not a makif. A makif is one and united with that which it embraces. Except this gives it its higher perspective, but it relates to it. And we say that there are two levels of makifim. Not one is a storage house and one is a home. Makifim, a home level type of makif. There are two levels. Both are real makifim. Both relate to that which is their makif and have an effect on it. And the Rebbe says it's incumbent upon us to identify and see the difference between the effect of one makif and the effect of the other makif. And again, I'm calling your attention to the second line of what we're learning now, this summer. The vadai for surely yesh hefresh. For surely there's a difference between makif haklori didira tator, between the makif haklori of tira tator, the lower, that's after the tzimtzum, the makif haklori didira yilor. The hagam for all those, sheshneha makifim, although that both are surround. The entire Hishtalshelus behashvo in total equality. So they're both superior to Hishtalshelus, infinitely superior to behashvo. Everything in Hishtalshelus in the world are equal to it. Mikol mokem still. Tzorich leimer. What tzorich leimer mean? We have to say, not because I'm pointing it out and explaining to you how I identify it. I'm forced to say it without even knowing what I'm saying. This means tzorich leimer. We have to say that the lower Tehira, who b'chinas kirav yesher, is closer to world. I'm not explaining how on what basis I'm saying this. Why? Because I'm talking to intelligent people and saying, tzorich leimer. So this is something which is challenging to our intelligence directly. Do you understand that tzorich leimer, or you don't understand this tzorich leimer? Tzorich Leimar.
Fourth line.
The fourth line. Oy Samach.
In math, it would be like it's a given. This is a given statement, meaning
The imperative or whatever they call it.
Well, in math, this would be like an axiom. So it equals, if added to equals, the result will be equal. This is not something that you improve, but you recognize it in your seichel. That this is the way it is. And then you can use that as a principle
for other things.
everywhere. So this is lahadl. It's a much finer tzorich leimer over here. But nevertheless, this is also tzorich leimer. I'm not explaining myself. But I'm saying, it has to be said, you have to say, you have to recognize. Please, if you don't recognize it, you have to recognize it before we go further. Otherwise, we're talking in the air. This is precisely why the Rebbe is presenting it this way. I'm second guessing the Rebbe, but this is the way it is. The body, for surely there is a difference. He's not explaining why there's a difference. Surely there's a difference. This is the level of your seichel to which I can address myself. If you do not have that, I cannot address myself to you. You have to go back to math. We have to say that Tirat Tato is in a closer manner to world than Tirei Eloi. You have to say that, even though they both surround the world equally. What's meant equally? In equality. Every aspect of the world, it embraces it equally. There's no greater challenge for me to embrace one thing versus embracing another thing. So Tirat Tato has to be closer to the world than Tirei Eloi. So leave it at that. Tirat Tato is also closer to the world. Tirei Eloi is remote. No, the Komokim still, Gam Bechinas Hamakim Tirei Eloi. Still, the Hamakim of Tirei Eloi is Ochro Behechach Leimer, is also, it's imperative to say Shepeil Be'ilomis. You have to say that it's Shepeil Be'ilomis. Shaharei, why do we say that? It behechach to Shepeil Be'ilomis. Shaharei, since behold, who B'chinas Makif al Koponim al Ho'ilomis. I wonder if you understand these words. It has a makif element. It is not a storage house. It has a quality of makif to it, to world. If it's makif, it has an effect, even though it is very remote. It's not a stranger to it. It's makif. It has makif. It has an aspect of makif. It's a contributor to world. The question is, what does it contribute? Vim came, and therefore, since it is bibchinas makif al koponim al ho'ilomes, therefore in b'chechrech loimer it is imperative to shepeil gam beilomes that has an effect on ho'ilomes. So the makif, the Tirei Eloi, the higher makif, has an effect on the world, and the makif, the Tirat Tato, has an effect on the world. And we came, b'tzorich lim, definitely b'tzorich l'ho'i, mahu hefesh b'neim. Now you have to understand what is the difference between the two. They both superior, they both embrace the world in total equality. They have an aspect of makif, they have an effect on it. You have to understand now what is the difference. You have to understand the difference between that effect and that effect. Right? The gam, and furthermore, mahu piyuloso b'hoilomis. This is a general question. What in fact is the pula of makif on the world? So we have to understand, in conclusion to this introduction, you have to understand what is the effect of makif on the world, and then to understand that there are two makif, to understand the effect of one makif versus the other makif, and understand the difference between those effects. They're here. So far, what the Rebbe said in these introductory words, all based on all coming from an approach, all of these things we have to say. It is, so to speak, a logical imperative, an intellectual imperative. Not even logical, intellectual imperative. There's no way to explain why it's imperative, but it's an intellectual imperative. Tzarich lema. Which means that we have to be intellectually alert, and if we are intellectually alert, we will see how imperative this is to say.
This is different from saying it's self-evident.
That's right.
It's more like saying it's apparent. It's like
no. Because apparent, it tells you. This is not telling you anything. It is you, with your intelligence, that you are imposing this concept. Tzarich lema. Tzarich lema means, from my intelligent perspective, I'm saying this. Not because I'm observing it.
more like a logical imperative on a higher level. You have to come to this conclusion.
Yes, but it's a much higher level, because logical is logic. There is a structure to it. This is not based on structure. He said this is an intellectual imperative, not a logical imperative.
Okay.
This form of presenting, this form of talking to us, should alert us to what does the Rebbe consider as heaven, what is intelligence as the Rebbe perceives that he is talking to.
Yeah. And the insight, in Bekitzur, the insight that he is wanting us to focus on is that these two levels of makif.
That there's a difference between the two levels.
Okay. Is he going to go into
1 second.
delineate?
Even though the two levels are makif, chlorine.
Yeah. Is that going to now be delineated, or are we just going to move on to something else? I'm saying, are we going to be left with...
This is what we're going to be left with.
Okay.
Then we're going to try to understand the difference, how each makif affects the other. But the question is already finished. Tzorich leima. Yeah.
Is it possible to say that the third lemar, the reason we have to say that there's a difference is that in between these two things comes the tzimtzum.
What? Say again?
That in between these two makifim, something happens called the tzimtzum. You can't say that anything after the tzimtzum is not different from what was before the tzimtzum.
Yes. But we're not, this is not what we're addressing. We're addressing the effect of the world, not the makif itself.
But first, before we got to the difference on the world, the first thing was to say, why do you have to say it in the fashion of tzarech lemar, that they're different? Before we get to the question of, and what is the difference? I thought that's what you were asking us to.
The Rebbe is asking what is the difference. And the question of what is the difference is based on the tzorich leima that there is a difference.
Okay, so the focus is on what is the difference.
That's right. But before you think in terms of what is the difference, you have to have the sensitivity of the tzorich leima that there is a difference. It's a different level of intelligence.